What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Here we go again. More tornadoes. 2 tornado warnings right now in Oklahoma as I do this video. Here we go. Oklahoma. This energy is moving to the east, northeast. Some of it's moving very quickly. Some of it's moving slow and a little bit of in between. Right now, the hot spot is in northwestern Oklahoma, where there are 2 tornado warnings as I do this video. Let's get right to the action. Where are we at? There we go, right there. We need data. We need names. There we go. We need cities. Mutual's in the tornado warning and a tornado watch. If you're in Mutual, the storm just went past you and it's moving east, northeast. Let's just see how fast. You guys want to see how fast? Here we go. Let's see how fast these storms are moving. They are moving at a pretty good clip. This one here will tell us. Watch. Check this out. 35 knots, 2-inch hail. Right there it is. 35 knots, 2-inch hail, northwestern Oklahoma. A little bit of everything on the menu. Severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning and a tornado watch for this area. There's not too much else you can put on the table here. You got everything going on. Tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. The paths, the towns in the path of all this energy that should take cover: Alva, Avard, Waynoka, Tacoma, Carmen, Burlington. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. I'm the messenger. This information is coming from the National Weather Service out of Norman. That right there is a gnarly looking storm. That's a very tall supercell thunderstorm that just moved through the Mutual, Oklahoma area. The only good thing about this is it's looking to be in a rural area. Possible tornadoes associated with this because these are tornado warnings right here. We've got multiple tornado warnings inside the tornado watch zone. Let me show you exactly where we are just to bring everybody up to speed, because this energy, once again, is in the Central Plains. Here we go. All these states here: Nebraska, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, just on the edge of northeastern Texas. And this energy is moving to the east, northeast at how fast? 38 knots. Pretty quick, which is good. But they're small, very powerful storms that are producing large hail. They're saying 2-inch hail in some places. This is 1.5 inches right here, headed towards Avard. If you're in Avard, Oklahoma, you probably should consider an interior room with no glass. For real. We've had X flares today. We had X flares yesterday. There's all kinds of storms brewing, and it doesn't look like there's any slowing down of this energy. Man, those are some strong storms. They're getting stronger. That afternoon heating, look at that. This is in northwestern Oklahoma. See the bright pinks? And look at all the lightning associated with these. South of Leedy, very powerful storms. There's some large hail in there. In fact, where are we at here? Let's look at the... No, that's not what I want. Is this what we want? That's what we want. I want the velocity. Well, we're going to put the velocity over here too. Hang tight, guys. There you go. There's the velocity, and the velocity will show. What we're looking for are sharp contrasts in the velocity here. Different colors. The colors all mean something. For instance, right here, if we see, and I don't see anything right now, just say north of, well, I do see a little bit. I take that back. Ooh, we do have rotation. Yes, we do. Oh, wow. Okay, we got to pause this. Pause it, please, right there. Okay, we have rotation. This is rotation right here. And that would be north of Mutual. The reason I know there's rotation there is because of the sharp contrast in the color. Check it out. That means there's very high wind speeds going in opposite directions of each other. It's not showing up too great on this one. This one is showing up crystal clear. And there's also evidence right there. You can actually see a eye wall right there. There could be a tornado on the ground right here. No joke. That is a classic signature right there. That's rotation. And what that's telling us is there's high winds going in opposite directions of each other, which is indicative of rotation. So that's what's happening right there. Let's step it forward. See what it shows us. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's rotation north of mutual. That's probably a tornado right here. Classic signature right here. That's a tornado signature, guys. How big, how strong, you have no way of knowing at this point, but it's definitely, yep, there it is right there, sure enough. That's what the radar was showing us. See it right there? That's what we were just reading on the radar, right? Because we can read 2.5, 36 knots. So large hail, so that tells us this is a very tall storm, and that is telling us that is correct right there. That's rotation. So we have a tornado more than likely on the ground north and east of mutual Oklahoma right now as I do this video. Wow. Right in here, northwestern Oklahoma. Keeping that up because that's a good source of information. Whenever you see those sharp contrasts like that, that tells you high winds going in opposite directions of each other. But the nice thing about it, that's in a rural area for now. It's in a rural area for now, Nate. This is where we're at. Let me pull out so you guys can see exactly where we're at. We are right here. South of Alva, Oklahoma. Right now we're west of Enid, Oklahoma. Enid has seen its share of tornadoes over the years. Just watching these things unfold in real time, guys. In real time. I want to show you guys, here's the X flare that occurred today. Storms brewing. This is an Earth-directed X flare. I'm not quite sure how big the CME is exactly yet, but there's another large X flare. That's like number 3 in 48 hours. 1, 2. That was an X4. That was a big X flare. And they're not done yet. I was out taking pictures of the sun this morning. In fact, I'll show you guys real quick. Here we go. I took this photo this morning around 9 o'clock, I think it was. These are the Earth-directed sunspots in active regions. And this region up here, 3663, has been an overachiever that has been producing X flare after X flare after X flare. So a lot of activity with the sun and a lot of activity with the thunderstorms here on Earth. Coincidence? I don't know. It makes you wonder, right? I've seen that before over the years. We get very powerful solar storms, and next thing you know, there's downpours on Earth 24 hours later. I've seen it. I was driving it at one time, and I knew that there had been an Earth-directed solar flare. This is today, tornado activity today, and we're watching tornado warnings over here. In northwestern Oklahoma, but tornado on the ground for about 5 minutes, started south of Highway 212 and then lifted north of Highway 212. That would be in the Butte County of South Dakota. Hold on just a minute. North and east of Sturgis, kind of out in a rural area. So if it had to happen somewhere, it happened in, a rural area, it looks like. Tornado earlier today south of North Platte. Photo of a land spout received from the public. This was earlier today at 1700. That would be, 5. What time was 1700? That's 5. Not too long ago, huh? North of Wellfleet. This is the energy that's producing the tornadoes, big old scorpion tail. Just a classic. The low is anchoring up here in the Dakotas and eastern Montana, and you can see the scorpion tail producing all of this energy right here. Tornadic activity in the Oklahoma area, northwestern Oklahoma. Here we go. Let's just see if it's still there. This radar is good. It is always right on the money, I'm telling you. And there's your activity right there. Still there. Still seeing rotation. There's probably a tornado on the ground right there, guys. No joke. That's what this is telling us. Tornadic activity in Oklahoma right now, north and slightly east of Mutual, Oklahoma. Moving towards, holy cow, it's moving pretty quick towards Clio Springs. Let me back out of this, go back to the single. Okay, thank you. Clio Springs, right there. You're in the path. Align, you're in the path. Carmen, you're in the path of this tornado warning, but this one is the one that I'm seeing the most rotation in. I don't really see a whole lot of rotation up here in this one by Avard, but if you're in Avard, you should already be in your safe spot. Let's just check it out and see if there's any rotation up here by Avard. Here we go. Yeah, seeing some. See the contrast between the color variations, bright red, especially if you see bright red and dark green side by side, then it's on like Donkey Kong, I'm telling you. I've seen it many times on here, guys. I've been reading this radar for years. So I just try to help, you know. If I can help one person, that's great. And I know this doesn't get out to very many people. I get it. I know my place. I understand. I get it. Don't worry. We're not going to get too many people over here. It's okay. But I've been doing this for a long time. And you know, like I said, if I can help one person, you know, it was time well spent, and I'm glad to do so. It's something that I've done, like I said, for many, many years, and I do know how to read radar maps and weather maps. I was reading weather maps before all this high-tech technology came out, chasing hurricanes since 2004. So I don't expect this to go out to more than 200 or 300 people, even though we have, let's see. Oh, there it went. Let's put this up for a minute. Just went backwards again. Been going backwards all day. It's kind of weird. It's strange. You got 600,000 and you can only pull in 200 or 300 people on your live streams. But here's the weather situation in the Central Plains. There looks like a tornado on the ground headed towards the Clio Springs area. This would be in northwestern Oklahoma. Yeah. Just east of the Oklahoma Panhandle. And let's read the tornado warning from the National Weather Service. Expires in 32 minutes. Here we go. I'm going to read this to you guys real quick. I'm just the messenger, guys. This is coming from the National Weather Service out of Norman, Oklahoma. Tornado warning remains in effect until 5:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time for southeastern Woods, southwestern Alfalfa, western Major, southeastern Woodward counties in Oklahoma. At 5:07 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing, and I'm pretty sure it did, produce a tornado according to this radar, located 6 miles north of Chester, moving east, holy cow, at 55 miles per hour. Tornado and golf ball size hail. Radar, yes it did. Radar did indeed indicate rotation. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Fairview, Orion, and Bouse Junction. And this is coming from the National Weather Service, and this is what they're advising those folks to do. Take cover now. Now would be a great idea. So take cover now if you're in those areas. Let's see if we've still got rotation on this system here. Tornado warning. Yeah, actually there is. go, right there. There's the rotation. So it's not the most organized rotation I've ever seen on here by a long shot, but there's definitely something going on. Oh, here we go. There's something going on up here. Oh, wow. Here we go. East of Avard. Holy mackerel. We've got a tornado on the ground east of Avard in Oklahoma. Right there it is. That is a tornado. And the location is Avard. East of Avard. Tornado on the ground. It looks like, according to this, I'm sure they're going to be putting a tornado icon on this map here any second. That's a tornadic signature. Yes, indeed. Okay, I'm going to pull out, go back to the back main window. Here we go. This is tornadic activity right here. And they have this area under a severe thunderstorm warning. So not a surprise. They're right again. And it's in between Avard and Alva. There's Alva. There's Avard. And the rotation is in between, primarily in a rural area, which is good. I mean, if there has to be tornadoes, and there's going to be, there have been tornadoes, there's going to always be tornadoes. It's just how the mechanics of this place works. We live on an intermediate brown dwarf star. This is how stars work. You live on a star, by the way, in case you didn't know. But it's in a rural area right now, and that's good. The worst kind of tornadoes are the ones at night. I mean, at least with this tornado, it's still daytime, and you can kind of, you're up, probably having dinner or whatever, and you have a chance to get to your safe spot. Most of these areas up here, folks have basements. I know I lived in the Central Plains for many years, and a house I had a basement in it. And there was a time or two that yes, I did go to my basement to seek shelter from, hi, Raven Zone. Raven 08 Zone, how you doing? The tornado right now is in northwestern Oklahoma. There appears to be one on the ground near Avard. But anyway, the activity's in northwestern Oklahoma. Now, that tornado warning has expired. I look for them to bring that back. And again, this information comes from the National Weather Service. This isn't something that I'm just randomly making up. All of this information comes from the National Weather Service, not me. I'm just the messenger. So this is about as official as it can get. There's another signature right there. I think we saw this one earlier. Let's see if the rotation is still there. Right there we go. Let's pause it, zoom in. Yeah, that's kind of showing us more like a debris ball right now. So there's something going on there for sure. And that, again, is in northwestern Oklahoma. Here's where we're at. Right here. That would be northeast of Oklahoma City. Just east of the Oklahoma Panhandle. So we did see rotation earlier there. It showed up on radar, and we're probably going to see more. This whole area through here, looking at tornado warnings, or watches at least, for possibly the next 6 hours. 6 hours. There we go, all of these areas. Southern South Dakota, it's under a mesocyclone discussion for the possibility of tornadoes later. Look at all those reports in South Dakota from earlier. We're going to take a look at some of those reports. These are the tornado watches and warnings right now. There's warnings in Oklahoma. The dark red you see here, this is tornado watch for another hour and 42 minutes. That includes north central Kansas, all of central Nebraska, over by Omaha, Sioux City, tornado watch for the next 5 hours and 41 minutes. Beatrice, right on the edge of St. Joe, Kansas City, Missouri, next 5 hours. Omaha, you guys are right in the middle of this potential energy. The energy's there. It's not necessarily potential, but there could potentially be tornadoes and things like that. 5 hours and 41 minutes. So have your guard up. Down here in the Oklahoma area where we currently have tornadic activity, tornado watch expires 5 hours and 41 minutes. And we're going to go back down to that area. I'm going to take you guys up to Omaha. We're going to go up to Kansas. We're going to go read the reports out of South Dakota here in a minute. But as long as there's a tornado, a potential tornado on the ground, I think we should stay here for just a second to give people a heads up if we can. You know, I mean, that's the goal. That we want to help people. Clio Springs, Oklahoma. Align, Oklahoma. I hope I pronounced that right. Aline. Fairview, Oklahoma. I know I got that one right. There was rotation here earlier. Let's see if there still is. I'm pretty sure there still is, or at the very least, that's a, well, yes, there it is. Right there it is. Okay, but the only good thing about that is out in a rural area, which is the best place for these things, right? I saw a tornado once. I actually chased it for about 15 miles, and it was along I-72 in Illinois between Springfield and Jacksonville. And it was primarily in a rural area. Did some damage, though. Just because it's in a rural area doesn't necessarily mean there's not going to be any damage. Of course it did damage. I saw it go right into a farmhouse. It took out a grain silo, if you guys know what those are. Galvanized, like round cylinder. Took it out. And I witnessed it. I saw it happen. I saw the tornado form on I-72 in central Illinois. So tornadic activity in the Central Plains has been there forever, and that was a long time ago. I saw the tornado form in the sky and actually touched down right in front of me, and I had to pull underneath an overpass. That was the only thing I could do because I didn't know where this thing was going to go. But right now, tornado possibly on the ground, headed towards Clio Springs. So if you're in Clio Springs, they're advising folks in this area to seek shelter now. And that's coming from the National Weather Service, not me. It is coming from me, but I'm the messenger here. If you're in this area, they're advising folks to seek shelter. Clio Springs, Fairview. It looks like the energy is headed towards Helena, quite possibly Jet, J-E-T, Oklahoma. This storm is moving how fast? Do we have a forward speed here? Let's look and see. 38 knots. Oh, wow. Check that out. 3-inch hail. Do you see that? 3-inch hail. Ravens 08 zone. So that tells you that the storms are very tall. Those are very tall supercell thunderstorms. How big are they? Can we get an idea how big these are, please? Right there. Look at the storms themselves are relatively small. Look at that, 5-6 miles in diameter. You know, I've seen squall lines on here for 100 miles long. So that's actually a very small storm, but very potent, very powerful storm. Headed towards, let's see, who we got? Aline, I'm going to say that's Aline. Carmen, Helena could be in the path of this energy. You guys have a plan. Tacoma, especially Clio Springs. Going to stay here in this area. This is where we're at. Let me back out and show you. We are in the northwestern quadrant of Oklahoma. Tornado possibly on the ground right now. So if you're in this area, that's what you see here with the bright pink. That's a classic indication of tornadic activity. Those are very tall, strong supercells. And you just saw it's not that big. The storm itself is relatively small. All of these storms moving through here are small, but they are packing some energy. Look at this one down here. We need to look at this one real quick. We're going to come back to that one here, but I want to check this one for rotation. Here we go. We need to step it through. Okay, here we go. Step it through. Okay, one at a time. No. Not bad. Okay, so no rotation involved with that. Just very strong. I mean, probably large hail through here. Let's look and see. Yeah. 2.5-inch hail. What is that? Tennis ball size hail? That's going to do put some dents in cars and things like that. So good size hail. Saw one the other day on here, Anika. 4.5-inch hail. Are you serious? 4.5-inch hail. Man, I am getting parched here. Once again, tornado warning in northwestern Oklahoma. This isn't the first one. This is like the third or fourth that we've seen since I've been on. I know there's been others. Keeping a close eye on the Oklahoma area. I'm going to look at power outages here real quick, so hold on. Yeah, let's check out power outages, guys. I'm sure there's a few. Not sure how many, but let's just go look because I honestly don't know. Got California showing 11,989 with no power. And Colorado, what's going on in Colorado? 10,580 without power in Colorado. Oh, we have a flare underway. Another one? I'm not surprised. This is still climbing. Look at that. You're witnessing a solar flare in progress. In progress. How about that? You don't see that very often. You just saw it. There's a solar flare underway right this very second. Subscriber watch. There we go. Went backwards one. How about that? You guys are bolting, huh? That's okay. It's been doing it all day. We have, let's check for rotation again. Let's head towards Cleo's. Oh, there we go. I think I see it now. Yes, indeed. Let's pause this real quick. Okay, we're seeing rotation now with this system. Right there's your rotation. That is some sharp contrast between the red and the green. That's what you look for. It tells you there's rotation in this area. Right here. Luckily, it's out in the country, but headed towards Cleo Springs, man. I'm telling you, Cleo Springs, if you're in Cleo Springs, have an interior room with no glass or a basement, and head there. You need to head there now because it's not far from your location. Let's just see how far. "13 miles, but the leading edge of this is 13 miles from your location. So, moving at 38 knots, so it's moving pretty quick, so it's going to be there in less than 15 minutes. Cleo Springs. Tornado warning expires in 18 minutes here in northwestern Oklahoma. This is where we're at. Is there any other tornadic activity? This whole area through the Central Plains is under a tornado watch for 5 hours. Could be a tornado on the ground right here. According to the radar, there is. That is pretty intense. Let's step it through here one at a time. A lot of clutter. And these things are evolving right before your very eyes. I mean, these are happening. Cleo Springs, I would, if you know anybody in Cleo Springs, if you're in Cleo Springs, man, head for that interior room with no glass or basement. Yowza. I'm surprised they haven't issued a tornado for that area. Now it's moving 38 knots, 2.25. That was updated 10 minutes ago. Fairview is probably going to stay north of Fairview, but that's, again, this is an evolving storm. So you're in the tornado warned area, and they're advising folks in this area to take cover now. Align, it's reaching your area. Align, Oklahoma, if you're in that area. Interior room with no glass. Basement, perfect. Hit the basements. I've done it. Been there, done that. Not in Oklahoma, but I have gone to basements in storms. Yes, I have, more than once. A lot of activity underway. That's going to be in the, we're going to come back to this in just a second. I wanted to look at, if we can, let's go to, yeah, this right here. This is where it's all coming from. Big low pressure anchoring up here in the Dakotas and Montana, creating the very familiar scorpion in the sky that we've all seen right there, and that's generating the storm activity, and it's going to get stronger. This is just getting started. I'm not quite sure what's going on in Colorado. There's power outages in Colorado, but I don't see any storms in Colorado. At least not anything on a severe side. Maybe there is. Let's look and see. You want to? Let's do it. Let's do it. Why are there power outages in Colorado? Let's look and see. No, not much going on. Maybe there's some winds that obviously aren't going to show up on here, but I don't see any storms. But there are power outages in Colorado. Just read the radar, guys, trying to stay on top of this. Cleo Springs, you're right on the edge of this severe thunderstorm and a tornado warning. Looks like it's going to hold together by the time it gets to the Cleo Springs area, which is just a mere 12 miles from the center of this storm, 11 miles from, well, actually 10 miles from the, oh, I just updated. There you go. You just saw that. Now it's 7 miles, 8 miles from the center of the strongest part of the storm. Okay, Cleo Springs. It looks like right now it's staying north of Fairview. Any new tornado warnings? No. Oh, we got wind reports. Check them out. This just came on. Right in the 82 mile an hour wind gust by a train spotter, Chester, Oklahoma. 82 mile an hour. That's hurricane force. So that is a strong storm. Radar is right again. Here we go. Let's see what this one is showing. This is a good radar. 61 mile an hour gust. Not quite hurricane force, but that's still a strong wind gust. And these are just the ones that are being reported. You know, there's many, many others that go unreported. Just like hail, you know, there's hail that gets reported of 2, 3, 4 inches, and you know, there could be 5, there could be 6 that's not reported that may occur out in a rural area. Sure, it happens all the time. Like this storm right now is out in a rural area, which is good, but it's headed towards a populated area. Cleo Springs. I'm surprised there's not any power outages reported in these areas. But again, these storms aren't necessarily really big storms, but they are moving uniformly. They're staying together, but this is not even 5 miles wide. Yeah, I guess it's 5 miles wide. But the core, the entire severe thunderstorm is, well, I'd say 8, maybe 9 miles wide is a fair, you know, fair assessment. This is going to update any second, and I would be surprised if we don't see a new tornado warning down here by Oakwood. This is a pretty feisty storm down here. Again, this is in Oklahoma, guys, northwestern Oklahoma, north of Putnam, actually including Putnam. The system right here, it's showing rotation, meso strength 3315, 2-inch hail. So they are showing rotation there. Let's look and see. Yes, there is rotation there, but not anything major, you know, but there is rotation there, yeah. Right there. All right. Right there. See, but it's not super strong. But that tells you that there is wind there going in opposite directions of each other. Yes, absolutely. but that could organize at any second. So if you're in the Canton area, Longdale, Oakwood, Toluga, Putnam, Sealing is kind of in between storms. In fact, it's almost past the Sealing, Oklahoma area. But Cleo Springs, Align, Oklahoma. Again, I can't emphasize enough. Man, get in your safe zone if you're in that area. Looks like it's trying to steer north of Cleo Springs. Look at that, Cleo. Well, Cleo might go around you, but that means the energy's headed towards Align and Carmen, Oklahoma. We're going to stay right here because this right now is the primary tornado warning. There's multiple tornado watches that span hundreds of miles through the Central Plains. So it's going to be a busy evening. It's going to be super busy. You guys going to have to be on top of your safe zones. I know we have a safe zone, and we're in Arizona, so we don't get storms out here a lot, but we all know where to go in case there were a monsoon storm that gets a little rambunctious. We know where to go. We have a safe room. Everybody knows where it's at. Interior room with no glass. Boy, that's got a gnarly-looking satellite. Look at that. Look at that tail behind it. Check this out. Look at that satellite or that radar presentation. Almost looks like a tornado. And the reason I bring that up is because that's what it looked like down in Texas a couple of days ago. There was a storm that started like that, and it developed a visible eye wall on the radar, which you don't normally see on this reflectivity type radar, but it did show a classic, what looked like a hurricane, land-based hurricane, but it was a large tornado, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 miles wide. Oh my goodness, it was by Robert Lee, Texas. Robert Lee, Texas. I think it formed I know it formed near Robert Lee. I think just south of Robert Lee. Oh man, it was a doozy. It was a big one. There's been a whole flurry of solar activity here recently, guys. Multiple X flares, and again, entering solar maximum. That definitely has potential to create power grid issues. Not only these type of storms that you see how they produce power grid issues, knock the power out, from high winds. Well, solar storms can take out power through, energy from the sun, solar flares, CMEs, coronal mass ejections, when the sun decides it's going to hurl a cloud of charged particles towards the Earth absorbs that energy, satellites absorb that energy, and it creates, I've heard power lines manage static through solar storms. I've heard the static go through power lines. It's so weird, but I've heard it. Yes, I've heard the energy. It's real, and it can cause interference, major interference with telecommunications. That's why we watch the solar flares so close. Here's just a quick banner today. This is today's storm. That's the X flare today. That's the shock wave the Earth felt, almost instantly, it seemed like. But it was Earth-directed. There was an Earth-directed component of it, a very large, powerful X-flare. That again, if we saw one Earth-directed like a Carrington event of 1859, there's no doubt in my mind that we would have severe satellite issues. And it's not so much the electrical component. It creates drag. The density of the CME will create drag because it will swarm the Earth with that energy, and those satellites would not be used to. Even though the satellites can go into what's known as a safe mode, that drag from the solar cloud density, they can't escape that. So the drag would throw them off course, and it could create a lot of malfunctioning satellites. And then the energy itself would be absorbed by power grids, power lines, substations, and things like that. And it would create an influx of energy, which would create malfunctions. It happened back in 1989 up in Canada. So it can happen. It will happen. It's just people have to watch it and wait for it. We're waiting. I know I'm waiting. I watch this every single day. Here's the X flare from today. It was a fairly long duration event. There's one underway right now. That was an X4. In fact, let's just look real quick. Hold on. I just want to see, because I've never been on live when there it is. Okay, it just topped off. Looks like as probably an M6, but that's a solar flare in progress right now as we're in the middle of this live stream. That's a strong M-class solar flare, more than likely Earth-directed. Now, they've extended this tornado warning, and I figured they would because of the rotation. Okay, so it does include now Cleo Springs, Ringwood, new tornado warning in northwestern Oklahoma. Brand new. This just came out 20 seconds ago. Helena in the path of the tornado warning. Gultree, Hillside, Carrier, Enid, North Enid, Minnow, Lahoma, Ringwood, and of course Cleo Springs. We've been talking about Cleo Springs. Let's read it. This is a brand new tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service that expires in 49 minutes. Here we go. Out of Norman, Oklahoma, the National Weather Service says the following. Tornado warning for southeastern Woods, southeastern Alfalfa, southwestern Grant, northwestern Garfield, northeastern major counties until 6:30 p.m. Central Time. At 5:38 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 4 miles west of Orienta, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. Hazard tornado, golf ball size hail. Radar, yes indeed, did indicate rotation. Expect damage from flying debris, damage to roofs, windows, mobile homes. Vehicles could be damaged from flying debris and large hail. Here we go. Locations impacted include Enid, Helena, Lahoma, Ringwood, Cleo Springs, Gultree, Minnow, Align, Nash, Hillsdale, Carrier, and Orienta. And here's what they're saying. Take cover now. That's not me. That's the National Weather Service saying that. This is an official tornado warning from the National Weather Service. And here's the area we're at one more time. Northwestern Oklahoma, the energy is moving east and northeast at 45 miles an hour. Let's look for rotation. You want to? Because we saw it earlier. They saw it too. Let's just check again where we at. Align. Okay, this is showing us a little bit of rotation right now, but nothing off the chart just yet. There's rotation right there. Yeah, there it is right there. We need to pause it real quick. Hold on, let's step it right there. That's rotation. So there is rotation. It's a little difficult to see, but there's definitely rotation there. Yes, indeed. Okay, so, and I knew there was. This is very accurate information, guys. I wouldn't be giving it to you if it wasn't. Aline, you definitely want to be in your interior room with no glass basement. Aline, Oklahoma, for sure. And they're expecting this to stay on the ground for quite some time. Inch and a half hail, 38 knots. That was updated 14 minutes ago. But you can see the longevity of the storm. Look at the path. They're showing the storm to be in effect for the next 15 minutes, maintaining its strength. All right, there you go. 4:29 p.m. up by Pond Creek. And that would be, I guess that would be my time, but that's not my time, but Central Time. Be 5:29. Or, let me see here. 629. 629 should be up by Pond Creek. That's how long this thing's going to stay on the ground. They're anticipating the energy to stay active for at least that long. That's the track they've got this thing. How many miles they got this thing going? 44 miles, huh? All right. And this is only going to continue on for the rest of the night, guys. Might slow down after the sun goes down. The sunlight, especially if it's excessively hot, the sun can give these things some energy, cause the storm tops to get even taller. That's why they're very tall right now. Boy, that has an interesting appearance. See how it's got that inflow right there? I'll show you what I'm talking about right in here. Looks like inflow, but the rotation would be wrong because the inflow does not rotate clockwise in the northern hemisphere. It rotates counterclockwise. So that type of signature is not necessarily indicative of a tornado, but rotation sometimes does show up like that on radar. You'll see the inflow signature that tells you there's a tornado there. Severe thunderstorm warning for Burlington, Morita, Byron. I don't know if I should attempt this one or not. Nescatunga. Did I get that right? Nescatunga. Severe thunderstorm warning for Lambert, Carmen. Looks like I missed a phone call here. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Now they have this area under what's called a mesocyclone discussion. Let's look and see what they are saying. That's the blue corral. Normally that's a mesocyclone discussion. What are they? Can't even click on it because there's so much activity here. I know it's a tornado watch. Trying to get the blue. What's the blue? I know what it is. It's a mesocyclone discussion. I can't even click on it because it's inside of a tornado watch. So, yeah. But whenever you see the blue come up like that, there's a pretty good chance that your area, if you're in this blue corral, pretty good chance that they're monitoring this area for tornadoes more than anywhere else at the present time. That's typically what that means. It's a tornado watch for this entire area, central Oklahoma, from north to south, all the way up into southern Kansas, central Kansas, northern Kansas, north central Kansas, of eastern Nebraska, including parts of far western Iowa. And that's new. Looks like they've moved that just a little bit. And I'm not surprised because that's the direction the energy is moving. Large hail near Grand Island, 1 inch. This is where the current tornado warning is at that expires in 41 minutes. This is a long duration, fairly long duration event. Large hail down here near Taloga, 1.75, so maybe a little larger than golf ball size hail. Not giant gorilla hail or anything like that. There was hail on here the other day, 4.5 inch. I'd never seen quite that big on here. But again, you know there's bigger out there somewhere that just goes unnoticed because a lot of this activity is out over unpopulated areas. So not every hailstone that falls from the sky is accounted for. So there's probably, who knows, there could have been hail at some point 5, 6, 7 inches or bigger that landed out in a far remote area where there was nobody at and nobody could verify it, obviously. So who knows? Let's look for rotation again, guys. Where we at? By a line. Here we go. Yeah, seeing some rotation. A little bit. We talked about a line earlier. Interior room with no glass. Basement would be perfect. I can't even click on it. This is a... I can't click on it because there's a tornado watch there. But this blue area, if you're in the blue corral here, so I'll just call it a corral. Caldwell, Medford, Anthony, Burlington, Cherokee. Well, there's a lot going on here. Severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warnings, Helena, Cleo Springs, Fairview, Sealing, Putnam, and I'm mentioning these cities that are inside the blue corral. Elk City, Weatherford, Thomas, Geary, Watauga, Hitchcock, O'Keene, Hennessy, Dover, Kingfisher, Okarche, hope I got that right, Wacomas, of course, Enid's in a tornado warning, and a mesocyclone discussion, Kremlin, Pond Creek, Garber, that whole area there in north central and northwestern Oklahoma is a hot spot right now. There's severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, and watches all at once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 severe thunderstorm warnings, 1 tornado warning. That includes Goldtree, Helena. If I were in Helena, I would be in my basement right away as fast as you can get there, or your interior room with no glass. This is moving at a pretty good clip, headed towards Nash. Goldtree, especially in the line of the most intense part. Aline right now, Aline is right in the thick of it. Small community in northwestern Oklahoma. They are feeling the force of this storm right now. Helena is coming up next, right in the line of this. So if you have a chance, get in your interior room with no glass. Basement. Obviously, storm shelters. Those of you, there are people in central Oklahoma and the Central Plains in general that have like wine cellars, storm bunkers that are built specifically for tornadoes. They're outside. They have the door that opens up on the ground. You go down inside. Some people have those made that don't have basements. And, you know, if you can afford it, that's a great idea. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I think that's how the old saying goes. Wow, this is getting gnarly down here. Are you serious? Look at that radar presentation. Wowza. Let's look for rotation. Like Camargo. Man, that's no joke right there. Let me step it through here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just stepping it through. No red, so it's all going in the same direction. It's very, very windy. That's more of a straight line wind event. There is a little bit of rotation, but not any crosswind. The crosswind is what you look for, and it's just not there right now, which is good. But they're straight line winds, you bet. Probably 50, 60 mile an hour range. Enough to do damage, take down tree branches at the very least. And it's the branches that fall into the power lines that create the power outages. I was in an ice storm one time many, many years ago, and I saw power poles break off at the ground because the power lines were coated with 3/4 of an inch of ice. And I remember standing out in front of my house. I was just a little kid. And I was looking down the street, and I saw a power, because the power lines were sagging, in some cases almost to the ground. They had so much weight on them. And the poles just gave away from the weight because the power lines are heavy anyway. And they were wooden poles. They weren't the tall galvanized steel ones that you see. from place to place. These were just wooden power poles, and saw them just collapse, fall over, break off at the ground from the excessive weight of 3/4 of an inch of ice was caught in the middle of an ice storm. And we didn't have power for 7 days straight. So I know what that's like. It is no fun to be without power for 7 days. That's why a guy like me, I know what it's like to not have power. I know what it's like to be without water. I used to live in an area where my house was on a well, and the well ran out of water. So I know what that's like. You can't do anything. You take it for granted. You know, if you've always lived in a city or wherever, you just push a button for this, push a button for that. I've lived in areas that are very remote where my well came from a water source. My water came from a well source in the ground. Would go dry from time to time during droughts, lose power. So I watch that very closely because life can get very uncomfortable without power and especially without water. Don't ever take water for granted because I'm telling you, everything pretty much stops. You can't really cook, can't wash your hands, can't brush your teeth, can't wash your hair, can't flush the toilet. You can't make coffee. You wouldn't believe how many things you use water for throughout the course of a day until you don't have it. So I keep plenty of water around here just because of those situations that I've been in throughout my lifetime. We always have at least 100 gallons of water available at any time, just in case. Because I actually, the first time I ran out of water, I was in the shower. I had shampoo in my hair. I didn't know. I'm like, what's going on? And then I hear my well pump just going, my well pump would not stop running. I'm like, that was the very first time I ran out of water. And you know what? After that, that's when I learned and I saw the light of how important it was to keep even 5 gallons. I kept 5 gallons in a cupboard, 5 gallons. So if I just happened to be taking a shower, I could rinse the shampoo out of my hair if I ran out of water. Huh. You seeing that? You guys see that? It looks like a tornado right there. By Cleo Springs. We've been talking about Cleo Springs. It looks like it may have reached down into Cleo Springs. Just looking for rotation, Cleo. Oh my goodness, there is rotation there. That might be a tornado. Huh. Need to pause this real quick. Doink. That's interesting, man. That's super interesting. I don't know if that's a tornado or what's going on there. That might be a tornado right there. No joke. You might be looking at a tornado right there. See it? Holy cow. Look at that. I'm taking a screenshot of that. There you go. Wow. Could be a tornado. I don't know. I don't want to say. I know this place is under a tornado warning, but that could be a tornado you're seeing right there on radar. Very well could be. Again, can't emphasize enough. Aline, we've been talking about Aline for 30 minutes. Aline, boy, you guys are in a very, very intense part of this storm right now. 38 knots, it's moving. That's the storm system moving at 38 knots. Got inch, 0.75 inch, 3/4 hail, 100% chance of hail. There's the details involving the situation right here. Inch and 3/4 hail. Not getting any wind reports, but obviously there's high winds there. Yes, there is. Helena, Nash, Hillsdale, you guys are in the path of all this. North Enid and Enid, Carrier, Lahoma, Minnow, Ringwood, of course, Clio Springs, right on the end of what could be a tornado right there. Yes, that could be rotation. I don't know. It could be. Yeah, that's all I can say is it could be. It's under a tornado warning, so I wouldn't be surprised at all. This is about to update here any second. And that is currently the only tornado warning right now. What's going on up here in north? Well, these are wind gusts, 54 mile an hour wind gusts in western Kansas, northwestern Kansas, 57. Cheyenne, wind gust, that would be, wow, Cheyenne, near Cheyenne, Wyoming. I'm going to come back to, I just wanted to read some of these wind gusts up here. That's hurricane force. Yeah, 74 mile an hour. So it was earlier today. Maybe that's what caused the power outages, maybe in northern Colorado, huh? 70 mile an hour wind gusts. .69 mile an hour wind gusts. So that would be my guess. The high winds went over into the northern Colorado area and probably took out some tree branches into power lines. That looks like a tornado. It sure enough does. Now they've been reporting 2-inch hail, 36 knots, 11 minutes ago. Again, interior room with no glass. Helena, Goldtree, Align. You guys are out of the storm activity now, which is good. But boy, that was fierce there for a moment. You guys in Align, Oklahoma. Clio Springs was right on the end of what could have been a tornado. At least it looked very much like a classic tornado on the radar presentation, but no confirmation of that yet. But let's look and see. We're going east of Align now. Oh, wow, there is all kinds of activity there. My goodness. Yes, right there. Hold up, back it up. Let's pause it right there. Yes, there's big time rotation there. So I'm pretty sure, based off of what we're looking at here, there is a tornado, and I'm sure this will be updated here soon. Tornado out here in the country, which is good. That's the only good thing about the situation. But there looks like a tornado south of Helena, east of Align. I'm pretty confident that signature is showing a tornado. That could be the intake. I don't know. The intake is where the air gets pulled into the storm and creates rotation. And it's what you see on the radar sometimes. Not always, but sometimes these things get so enveloped in rain, they're rain wrapped. It's even hard for it's hard to see them on the ground, number one, and it's hard for radar to detect them if it's raining in like downpour situations. You guys have all heard of rain wrapped tornadoes. I'm not saying that's what's going on here, because you could clearly see the wind shear. Basically, that's wind right in there going in different directions. So that's usually an indication of rotation, and that's the storm that we saw north of Clio Springs that I took a screen grab of that looked like a tornado on radar, which is rare. You don't normally see that. You'll see signs of tornadoes on here, like wind shearing like that. But not the physical structure itself. That's rare, like what we saw in Texas a couple of days ago. Saw the eye wall of the storm from above. Unbelievable. This down here, I am very surprised. I'll be surprised. Canton, Oklahoma. Oh, you need to be in your safe zone pronto. Look at that storm system coming your way. We will check for rotation. Canton, here we are. Canton. There's some rotations. It's trying to right there. See that? You're in Canton, Oklahoma, interior room with no glass. Rotation is attempting to get organized west of your location, north of Oakwood. That is right there. Rotation trying to get organized. It's not organized yet, but either way, that is a very, very strong thunderstorm. Yes, indeed. Let's see if we can get any data. That's a severe thunderstorm warning that expires in 25 minutes. 2-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I'm sure it's every bit of that. Locations include O'Keene, Canton, Longdale, Hitchcock, Oakwood, Canton Lake, Isabella, Eagle City, Homestead, Huckmack, and Southard. All in this severe thunderstorm warning. That is a very, very strong storm. Satellite says so. I'm sure if you're there, you're fully aware of it. But this here looks pretty feisty. It's still a tornado warning for the next 24 minutes. Hillsdale, both North Enid and Enid. Right now, it looks like the energy possibly may stay north of Enid, but this is an evolving storm, so they have this whole area in a tornado warning for a reason. So it could evolve down into that area. Oh, we have a new tornado warning. We got to check this out, guys, real quick. I want to stay on this best we can because I know this is going to continue on. This is going to be just a repeating cycle. This is a new tornado warning. Where's it at? It is north central Kansas near Clay Center, Concordia, Minneapolis. I did not know there was a Minneapolis, Kansas. Cool. But there's the tornado warning, including Clifton, Palmer, this is in Kansas now, Clyde, Aurora, right on the boundary, Milton Vale, Morganville. This is a new tornado warning that was just released by the National Weather Service in Topeka. Tornado warning for, at 5:58, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 4 miles northeast of Miltonville, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. Hazard tornado, radar indicated rotation, flying debris. Locations include Clyde, Clifton, Milton Vale, Morganville, Palmer, and Benning. Take cover now. That's what the National Weather Service is recommending, and I would do so. Take cover now. Once again, this is in north central Kansas. Let's look for rotation. Right there, headed towards Marysville, Clifton, Palmer. We're looking for rotation right now. Primarily by Aurora and Miltonville. Let's look and see. Yeah, there is rotation right there. Back it up. Right here, for sure. That's rotation. There's rotation there. Absolutely there is. Especially by Milton Vale, Kansas. Probably a tornado underway. Another strong line of thunderstorms again that are going to be around for a while. The blue areas you see here are what they call mesocyclone discussions. Now there's 3. 1, 2, 3. Multiple tornado watches. We only have, I say only, one's too many. Tornado warnings. One in north central Kansas that we're watching, and one down here in north central, northwestern Oklahoma that is going to be expiring here in the next, I think, 20 minutes. Let's look and see. We may have actually seen a tornado. Helena, you guys are in the most intense part of that storm system right this very second. Let's look for rotation here. We want to look for, we want to be by Helena. Helena. Yeah, I mean, it's unorganized, so it could be a tornado, but you definitely have some sort of attempt of rotation there. And that's the storm that we saw when it was near Cleo and Aline that had similarities to a tornado. Physical tornado on radar, you don't normally see that. All right. We are in central northwestern Oklahoma, and there's a tornado warning in north central Kansas. This area could see, it's going to be a long evening, guys. The tornado watches don't expire for another 4 hours and 50 minutes if you're in eastern Nebraska, which includes Omaha, western Iowa, central, eastern parts of northwestern Kansas, all of central Oklahoma. This whole area you see right here. Let me just circle it real quick. Right in here. This is the area that you need to have a big heads up for the next 5 hours. And you can see parts of southern South Dakota, western Iowa. Once again, I'm just reiterating Oklahoma. This energy is going to move into Missouri at some point. Central Kansas, most of Kansas, to be honest with you, and the biggest part of Nebraska, and the biggest part of Oklahoma. This is another large-scale event, but it includes a lot of very small, by comparison. I mean, I've seen huge storms on here before in the past. They're small, very powerful storms. So if you're in the, yep, there it is. I was waiting for that. I'm like, what in the world? There's this tornado right there. I thought there was a tornado there according to the radar. And yes, that is what that means right there. Cleo Springs, is that by? Yeah, Cleo. So I think there was a tornado there earlier. It certainly looked like it on radar. That's what that is telling us, that yes, there was a TVS, a tornadic vortex signature tornado. There was minimum speed 74 knots, so it's hurricane force. So must not have been like an EF5, which is good. We don't want to see those, but there was the radar was showing tornado for sure in that area. At least I was 99% sure there was. But they're normally not that obvious. I mean, these storms here recently, the tornadoes are showing up as physical structures on these radars, and that's not normally how it works. I mean, here's another one down here, and this isn't even a tornado-warned area. And we were talking about this area just a minute ago, headed towards Canton and Longdale, this area right here, another TBS. Let's click. I'll show you. See it right there? The radar showed rotation, but doesn't necessarily guarantee, but it showed rotation. Maximum velocity, 131 knots. Not surprised. I am not surprised at all. That's how these things can pop up very quickly. And this area wasn't even under a tornado warning. This stuff is evolving very, very quickly. It's super strong right in here. There's a dry line there that's creating all this updraft and instability, atmospheric instability. Clifton, you're right in the center of a tornado warning. Clifton, Kansas, north central Kansas. Seeing tornado activity down here in north central, northwestern Oklahoma, even down here in the central part of Oklahoma, west central. That's something that just occurred within the last few minutes near Canton, Oklahoma, headed towards Okeen. This is a tornado warning that expires in 16 minutes. That includes all these communities right here: Helena, Goldtree, Hillsdale, Nash, and Carrier. Let's take a look at, yeah, that was an M flare. Sometimes that'll double bounce. It'll bounce back up, but that was a probably an M6 class solar flare. You got another one to go along with all of these. And it just takes that one to spike up off this map, like an X30 or something like that. Earth directed. If we ever see one of those, then we'll probably be dealing with communication malfunctions, quite possibly power outages. That would be worst case scenario, power outages. Yeah, there's a line, a dry line somewhere in through here. That's what's creating the tornadoes right through there. The anchor is up here. There's the scorpion tail. You know, scorpion in the sky, very familiar. And it's the tail that stings. And that's what's creating the tornadoes. Any power outages? Any new power outages? Got the ones in Colorado fixed. That's good. I'm not seeing anything major going on with power outages, and that is also good. And it's because the storms are not necessarily, 50-mile wide supercell thunderstorms. They're supercells, but they're compact, maybe 5 miles wide. Like this one here, for instance, it's barely 3 miles wide. Look at that. The strongest part right here. That's the most intense part of the storm. It's not that wide. You get those big, huge squall lines that go rolling through these areas. That's when you see the power outages and widespread. But this is a widespread event, and it's a multi-state tornado watch, severe thunderstorm warnings and watches covering multiple states, hundreds of miles. That's going to continue on for the next 5 hours, guys. 5 hours. So again, if you're in these areas, just a big heads up, that's all. Most of you guys are familiar with tornadoes. I know there were recently tornadoes in Omaha, Kansas City. It's been an ongoing event, especially these last 5-6 days, and it's occurring again today. So just have your guard up, as you always do. Have your room, interior room with no glass or a basement, so you can seek shelter if need be. Should always have a plan. Let's check this area here real quick. Have an interior room. Have a designated area. I mean, we do. We're in Arizona, so this looks like it's moving pretty quickly through Morganville, Clifton, Brantford. Saw the north end of this storm cell. This is a tornado warned area. Palmer, Morganville, Clifton. Looks like they've restructured it. It's not as big as it was earlier. I don't even really see any. Is there any? Let's look and see. No, it's in pretty good shape. So not anything major going on there right now. That's in north central. Boy, there's so many watches in north central Kansas. Looking pretty good. But these storms are just super intense down here in Oklahoma. I can't get over the strength of these storms. If you're in Putnam, North Putnam, interior room with no glass, Oakford or Oakwood. What, I can't read it because of is that large hail? Let's see how big. How big are they reporting this? 1.75 in Oakwood, Oklahoma. A lot of activity again, guys. That could be a tornado right there. Let's just look for a rotation real quick. North of Canton. Yeah, you can see the rotation right there. Rotation starting. Let's just say rotation is starting. It's not full-fledged rotation, but it's trying to. Right in there, right where the radar's showing. So Canton, Oklahoma, Longdale, Oklahoma, Okeen, Oklahoma, Hitchcock, Oklahoma. That's a severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in progress, but I wouldn't be surprised if that turned into a tornado warning, or at least it's in a tornado watch. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's a tornado. See, there's that tornado. That's the one that we saw. I think that's north of, yeah, we saw that on radar, guys. There it is. Tornado, sure enough. They confirmed it. That has been confirmed by the National Weather Service. So what we took a screenshot of earlier was indeed a tornado. It's confirmed by a train spotter, report relayed by National Weather Service employee 5 miles south of Helena, Oklahoma. So that was a tornado, and I couldn't get over how the physical characteristics on the radar showed us a tornado, literally. I was so surprised because it doesn't normally work that way. You have to interpret the colors. You have to interpret the pixels. They all mean something. But to show a tornado, a vortex on here, it's kind of unusual. I'm sitting here scratching my head. I can't believe that could be another one. That literally could be another one right there. Right here. I don't think so, but it could be. That's wild. Are you serious? Wow. We're getting strong rotation right there, guys. East of Helena, Helena may be included in that. We may be looking at another tornado headed towards Gultry. Gultry, Oklahoma? I know it looks clear now, but there's a situation not far from your area. Wow. You guys need to be careful in here. No joke. This stuff is evolving very, very quickly. My goodness. Okay. Well, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope I was able to be of assistance to somebody in the Central Plains, and I'm still going to watch the storms. This is something I've done for many, many years, and I'm going to continue to do that. I watch them all the time. I have a monitor over here that's designated for severe weather, and that's all it does is watch and let me know when there's severe weather out there. So, contrary to the situation, I do watch the weather. I have over 20 years of experience. Yeah, I do show a lot of UFO footage and stuff on my YouTube channel, but that's what people want to see. They like to see that. They share that stuff with me, and they put out a tornado warning down here. I wondered when they were. But honestly, guys, one of my strong suits is especially hurricanes, chasing hurricanes. I've done that for many, many years as well. We do the UFO stuff because people share that with me. I get emails every day of unusual objects that people are seeing in the sky, and they ask me to analyze the footage, the photos, because I am an image analyst, and a lot of the stuff involves mysterious sightings in the skies. But just being honest with you, one of my strong suits is the weather and hurricanes. It has been for many, many years. Just because I show a lot of UFO stuff, I still keep a very, very close eye on the hurricane situation and the storm situation. I may not always go live, and you can see why. My stuff doesn't get recommended like it used to, and that's just the way it is. I'm not complaining. It's just the way it is. But I still watch the weather, and I still got your back. So just know that. But this is a brand new tornado warning, and I am not surprised because we saw the energy down here that showed rotation. Tornado, golf ball size hail, flying debris. Locations include Canton, Oakwood, Putnam, and Eagle City. And this is coming from the National Weather Service. They're saying take cover now. Again, brand new tornado warning that expires in 36 minutes. Including Canton, Oakwood. And we saw that rotation earlier. Let's look and see if it's still there or if it's evolved into something even more. All right, here we go. Looks like it's, oh, it's definitely still there. You bet. Yeah, there's rotation there. It's a little bit unorganized. It's attempting to become a vortex. That's what's happening there. That's what you're seeing. It's trying to, but I don't know that it will. But it could. You never know. It's under a tornado warning, so National Weather Service seems to think so too. But again, this whole area that you see in the red rectangles, all of this area is under a tornado watch. And there's another blue corral. This is a brand new one. This is a mesocyclone discussion. And this is up in western Iowa. This is brand new. Expires in an hour and 50 minutes. 50 minutes. Severe potential for tornadoes in western Iowa. Possible of watch issuance 80%. That's what that means. So it's not a guarantee that there's going to be tornadoes in this area. They're just saying that the potential is there, more than likely an 80% chance that they'll be issuing some sort of tornado watch or warning in eastern, northeastern Nebraska and parts of western Kansas. And they're saying that the atmospheric conditions are primed and ready to produce tornadoes, damaging winds. So stay tuned. This area right here you see highlighted in blue, just like you see down here. That's what this is, a mesocyclone discussion that includes Lincoln, Nebraska. Does it include Omaha? Yes. Well, Omaha's right on the edge. But you can see Omaha's in between two mesocyclone discussions and a tornado watch. All of this activity here, the blue especially, be on the lookout for tornadoes in southeastern Nebraska, northeastern Kansas, and as you can see right now, northwestern and north central Oklahoma, where there are currently tornadoes underway right now as I do this video. They've extended this one, and I'm not surprised, to include Pond Creek. This is now under a tornado warning. Jefferson under a tornado warning. Hunter, Oklahoma under a tornado warning. And this one expires now in 48 minutes. So this is an extension of the one that we saw earlier that looked like it produced a literal tornado on the radar, and it looks like there is rotation there once again. This is kind of an evolving situation here. Yes, indeed, there's evidence of rotation in that area for sure. That's why they've extended it. This is coming from the National Weather Service, not me. I'm just the messenger here, guys. All righty. Well, listen, those of you that stopped by, thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys. When I do these weather live streams like this, I'm going to do a question and answer live stream coming up here in the, I don't know, next few days. And I may have a special guest. We'll have to wait and see. But whenever I'm focusing in on these tornadoes, when people could be potentially in the path of danger, I like to stay focused on this. And if I can help one person, again, it was time well spent. So that's why I stay so focused, and I don't get involved in the chat room. And I apologize for that. I really do. So I'm not ignoring you. I just I'm very, very focused, and I take the weather very seriously. I really do. I mean, you're probably just going to have to stop by my YouTube channel and see if I'm doing weather reports or what. If you have an idea that the weather might be getting a little out of hand, I'm usually on it. I'll go live every once in a while, but again, my stuff's just not getting recommended. So you'll just have to come over and see. That's all I can say. All right, guys, that's all I got for now. Storms brewing. We have solar storms brewing and severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings in progress. Thanks for watching. Have a super day. And as always, be safe out there.